What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Arco.
And I am the queen, and you're tuned in to Boss Talk.
Today we have another one of our special guests in the building,
Mhm.
and he is a skater as well as a DJ. So we are going to go ahead and introduce him. I got my man Christopher Morales, DJ PM, in the building. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How you guys doing today?
Amazing.
Pretty good, pretty good. All right, so first off, we're actually going to start off by asking you, how long have you been skating?
God, I would say about 34 years.
Wow.
34 years. Okay. And do you remember when you first started, what got you into skating, or was it just something that was a family pastime, or was it something that you just kind of picked up?
Well, living in New York, born and raised in Brooklyn. I actually started skating when I was 2 years old.
Wow.
I had, those old school double blade ice. I actually started off ice skating, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's where a lot of what I do comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of ice skating when I was younger, and it just morphed into what it is today.
Okay.
Skating around the neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
pretty much, come home from school, done with homework. What I'm going to do, I'm going to skate up and down the block.
Right.
So at 2, did you start ice skating, or did you start on the quads?
I started actually ice skating first. I didn't get introduced into roller skating until a little bit older. My uncle actually introduced me into Empire. That's how the roller skating, I got hooked.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it really never stopped.
Now, as far as transitioning from ice skating over to roller skating, did you find it a hard transition? Because I started the opposite. I roller skated, and I didn't ice skate until I was probably in my teenage years. And I did it one time.
Right.
And that was it. That was enough for me, but I was living in Wisconsin at the time. I'm originally from the Midwest, and my aunt had took us ice skating on a pond. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I'm happy you're still sitting there in that chair, because ponds are scary. I've never skated on a pond, never will.
That was my first and only time. But it was different because I felt like I didn't have the mobility, but it's probably because I'm just so used to being on quad. And then I was so worried about falling and cut my hand open and bleeding everywhere and dying. So that was in the back of my mind too. So, because ice skates are a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more dangerous than roller skates. So, how was that transition for you?
The transition has actually been really easy. If you actually really think about it, the technique is actually the same. The only difference is what you're actually skating on. Going from ice to concrete, wood, whatever. The same technique that you use for ice skating is actually the same way you roller skate. Obviously, there's no beat. So it's just a stride, left, right, over and over and over. So, once you're able to master the actual balance technique of ice skating, if you're able to transition to anything else, it's really simple. I don't know if you guys have ever snowboarded or skiing. It's the same thing.
Oh, I have. It's fun. I love snowboarding.
It is. And guess what? The funny thing is, like, when you snowboard and you ski, the same balancing technique when you bend your knees and you lean forward, it's the same thing. The only difference is that you got skis or snowboard under your foot.
Right.
The same thing.
Skating, it's the floor is so slick,
Yes,
in contrast to when you get on the wood floor, for instance, or concrete. So how was that, that transition in that regard?
Well, I've always started as more of a mental transition. You have to understand what you're doing before you get yourself into it. I've skated on a lot of rink floors that have been very slippery. It felt like ice.
Especially when it starts the condensation. The floor starts to sweat.
Condensation. There was one rink I skate at in New Jersey that's closed, Skate 22. They used to have a film of dust on the floor. I ain't gonna lie. It felt like you were skating on ice. It didn't matter how much you pushed. It didn't matter what kind of wheels you had on. You were sliding from one end to the other off of one stride. It didn't matter how good your balance was.
Okay. It almost sounds like World on Wheels in Cali, because their floor is slippery.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's like a slip and slide. But once you get used to it, I was actually able to do a lot more stuff with ease than normal. So
yeah, if you really think about it, it's a lot. It's more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, as long as you take your time and you maintain the standard technique and the main balance, you know, bending your knees, leaning forward, you know, keeping your arms somewhat, you know, flexible and not too stiff, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as incorporating the ice skating into the roller skating, do you the transitioning over to roller skating, right?
Mhm.
And the moves that were on ice skating is pretty much similar. Is that correct?
Right.
Say?
Yes.
Okay. Mhm. So
So,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
okay. A lot of the technique, if you actually think about it, is really the same. When it comes to edge work and balancing, it's the same. Body placement changes. Because if you think about when you're skating, you're on two edges. So that's all you have to really rely on. It's something singular that's underneath your foot.
Yeah.
When you're roller skating, you have four wheels underneath your feet for you. So you have more of an actual advantage for balance.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
your technique is more broader. When you're on ice, it's like you're very straight. You can't mess up. You can't catch an edge, you know, so it's either pass or fail,
Okay.
you know. But the edge work, when you're able to understand edge work, ice skating, your roller skating edges are max, like to the max, like all the way to the, you know. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice because figure skating and ice skating is all done by book. You know, what we do, there's no book to it at all.
Mhm.
People show you the technique and then you take it and you make it your own. That's the good
Right.
thing about roller skating.
Right.
You know, I've started out figure skating and I did a lot of ice dancing.
Mhm.
If you actually look at the Olympics and you see guys do ice dancing,
Yeah.
I learned a lot of edge work from ice dancing.
Mhm. So it's very technical then. So it's like a book of rules. Like this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how it's supposed to be done.
It's very
And
Yes.
in it.
were
Very
you
much
wearing
in it.
tights? Did you have to wear tights?
No.
My man.
Let's
Okay,
clear
you're all
that
right by me.
No
I
tights.
feel more comfortable with this interview now.
No, but I tell you one thing, they do keep you warm. I tell you that. The crazy thing is that I've been able to take my passion and love for skating and actually made it into a job.
Okay.
So I started off coaching. I worked in ice rinks almost all my life. You know, I started out like skate rental, handing out skates. And then I moved into, you know, watching the crowd being skate guard. And then that morphed into me actually being a Zamboni driver.
Okay.
So I've worked in rinks all my life since I was like 16. But, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, you go to the rink, you know, people, hey, could I help out? Could I do this?
Yeah.
Could I do that? And it morphed into an actual career that I love today.
Ice rink, you're referring to, it morphed from the ice rink into a career.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it morphed into a career. And what I'm technically known as now as a ice technician.
Okay. So what is an ice technician? Tell us.
So an ice technician is somebody that actually works on ice rinks. We maintain ice and we maintain the machinery and the refrigeration equipment.
Okay.
It's specialized training that you go through, and they cover everything from ice resurfacers, Zambonis, Olympia ice resurfacers, and then you get the basic knowledge on how an ice rink is actually built. So I've taken skating and actually made it a career.
Wow, nice. So I have a curiosity question about the ice skating rinks because you see the ice skating rinks. So and you see them out there on the little machines and they're driving around the Zambonis.
Right.
So underneath the floor, is it like completely refrigerated or what is it?
Yes. Think about a box, right? And you have sand on it, right? Now you put pipes and then you put more sand on top of that. So the refrigeration is the fluid is called brine or glycol. That fluid is chilled and pumped through the tubes, either through concrete or sand, depending on how the rink is built. And that temperature has to be kept at a very low temperature. So that way the ice can freeze. And in combination with your air temperature, you're able to actually have an indoor ice rink.
Gotcha.
It's a big science, you know, that really goes into it.
Gotcha. And it is just ice, right? Or a water, right? It's not like a
No, literally, it's real ice. Nothing that's synthetic, even though it's been invented. But it's a very labor-intensive job. But once you have the core basics down, it's easy. All of the ice rinks are the same today. It's either sand-based or concrete-based. You know, and I've been very fortunate to work around a lot of great technicians,
Yeah.
a lot of great coaches, you know, and I'm able to take what I know to really the next level. I've even worked in pro shops, you know, really great known pro shops in New York called Peck and Goody, Blades Board and Skate. And I've actually learned how to build skates for people, roller skates,
Nice.
roller blades,
Nice.
and competitive figure skates. There's a lot of competitive figure skaters that I've met over the years that I've been trained by and taught to, you know, because skating for me was my outlet. That's all I had, you know, and that's all I wanted to do. Literally, like morning, noon, and night. It didn't matter. As soon as I got out of school, I was running to the rink, like running. You couldn't stop me, okay, unless it was for dinner. It didn't matter.
Gotta stop for some food.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. That how that your love for skating, period. You know, you started in the ice rink, and you still ice skate today, correct?
Yes, I still work at an ice rink right now. I'm building an ice operations manager for a rink in New Jersey called Protect Ponds. It's a 3-rink facility, and I maintain all the mechanical and all the building operations. And I also run their pro shop.
Nice.
Ooh.
So we actually have an ice skating rink here in Houston. So, and because I know that's water, so if I'm just walking around with a warm cup, I can take some of that ice and put it in there, and it ain't gonna get me sick or nothing like that. But it was cooler down.
Lord have mercy.
No, this is just something that I'm just asking because who knows, somebody might have asked that before. Like, what happens if I'm ice skating and I fall and I get some of that ice in my mouth? Is it gonna do anything?
I prefer you don't eat it. Don't eat it.
Fair enough. So there you go. So have you ever been skating physically, like roller skating physically, and in your brain is like I'm ice skating and the move doesn't match up? Because from what I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, the boots for ice skating are a lot more stiffer.
True. A lot of people buy stiffer boots because of the construction of the boot. The construction boot will allow you to do more. So if you buy, say, like a standard 220, that's something that's a very standard beginner boot. But then if you buy a high-end boot, which can be a gold seal or a silver star, you can feel the difference depending on what you want to do. Okay. A lot of people that are doing high-end jumps, high-end edge work and everything like that, they'll have a stiff boot because they want that durability and they don't want their foot to move around too much. And a lot of people actually buy boots incorrectly. If you think about it, boots are actually Rydell, Jackson, Adia, everybody. People buy boots the wrong size. So they really are not getting the full advantage of the boot. Because if you think about it, skate boots are actually made bigger than your actual foot size. So my foot size is a size 12, 11 and a half, depending on what I'm wearing. When I buy boots, it's custom made. So I'm like a 10 and a half, 10 and 1/4, depending on what company I go with. Because your foot's really is not meant to move only but so much.
Right. So really and truly, you should have a boot that is extremely snug to your foot.
Yes. So that way you get the full advantage of what the boot can actually help you do. Because the boot is actually supposed to actually enhance what you're doing. You know, it's just a tool, you know, just like a screwdriver. You know, you need a screwdriver to screw in something into the wall. The boots, the plate, the wheels are all tools for you to enhance your skills.
Steve, every time we talk to somebody else, we learn something new about the boot and how it works with you or for you. And it's always so enlightening because you think you have you have your boot, you think you have the best boot, but in reality, it could be something that you need a little bit more to keep you functioning and getting the turns and doing the tricks you want to do.
Yeah, sometimes I'll even ask some strange questions, but you know, it'd be questions that I just want to know. Like, okay, I wonder if this happens. Or this happens.
And everybody's style is different, and everybody generalizes around a particular plate. Like up here in New York and New Jersey, we wear all dance plates. We do Rydell boots, Adia boots. But then when you go to Chicago, you know, you got people with those high boots, you know, and then they wear
like military boots.
Yeah, those military boots, and then they'll have like a I forgot the name of the plate, but it's very popular. It's black, and I think it's a hard candy plate. They'll, you know, to them that plate is like number one because of how they're stylish. So everybody buys boots according to their style. Everybody buys their equipment according to their style.
Yeah, and that was actually something that we were speaking about recently with James Rich. And that was something.
I know James.
Yeah, and that was something that was mentioned. I had said that, you know, depending on your style of skating, depends on what you need to get for yourself as far as foods and as far as plates and wheels.
A lot of good suggestions.
And you can spend a lot of money.
Oh,
you really can.
Yeah. I spent a lot of money. Yeah.
There's only one boot that I've had my entire life, and the company is called Klingbeil. That boot lasted me 15 years, and that was a custom-made boot, like made by somebody's hand in Queens, New York.
Wow.
The company shut down, because they used to make shoes and stuff like that, but they were really known in the ice skating world. They really weren't too known in the roller skating world. At the time, my friend Mahaja, and a few others, we got Klingbeil boots. They were the best boots I ever had. You could take it back to them. They can rebuild it. It didn't matter what condition it had. It had a lifetime warranty.
Wow.
Nice. How much are those?
Those at that time, they were $1,100.
Wow.
And that lasted me 15 years. So think about it. If you invest in your equipment, it makes you better over time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing with DJing. So, and
oh God, don't
trust me, I can talk about that all
my
day.
wife can kill me. Okay,
we ain't gonna dive too much into that, but yeah.
It's a big investment.
DJ equipment is like crack to us. You see something?
Yeah, I see something. It's like, okay, how can I afford this one? Can I push
Yeah.
Make it happen.
How much blood can I donate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the whole skating scene has been really good to me. They showed me a lot of love over the years, and I'm very grateful, and I try to give back as much as I possibly can to whoever grabs my hand. Because that's what it is. It's just a revolving door. What I learned, it's time for me to pass on to the next generation.
Most definitely.
And when I came up hard. Empire, learned from the old school dudes: Bill Butler, Mike, Will, Eric, a lot of other good people, Amina, Vicky, Sandy. The list it's like a mile long, but I've learned a great art, because that's what it really is. At the end of the day, it's an art form,
right? And
I feel like it's a full expression of who you are when you're out there skating, and it's taught me a lot of good and bad things. And I've taken a lot of the positives, and I've been able to transfer those positives to other great skaters that are actually coming up. So I'm very happy at what I learned, who I learned from. And, I just keep pushing forward whenever I can. Whenever I can get on the floor, I go as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Just because it's nothing like how it used to be. Like somebody told me, every 10 years they have 2 or 3 great skaters. So my time was between 98 and 2002, right before Empire shut down in Brooklyn. And it was me, Mahaja Turner, Anthony Camacho, and a few others. And that was our prime time. Now, 10, 15 years down the road, we got New Jacks. So they're taking it to another level. And these guys are doing stuff that's like,
oh yeah, I know.
I'm like, wait, we reinvented it. Now y'all taking it and reinventing it again. So, it's great to be a part of something that is strong with culture. It blows your mind, because the first time I ever went to an adult night, they were like, no, you're not old enough. Can't get in here. Dude, I was like, okay, fine. And I was a knucklehead back in the day. I really was. But I came up the right way. Eric Alston, you guys had an interview with him. He's actually a brother of mine. I love him to death. And he actually took me under his wing back in the day, besides from Mike and Bill. And I followed Mike, Bill, anywhere they were in the ring. I did as much as I possibly could. And I followed Big Bob. Big Bob's another great friend of mine. And he's the one that actually, I used to come to Empire even before I was even working there. And I used to try to understand what it was about, because it was at that time, I knew nothing about the adult scene. The adult scene was deeper than what I thought it was. And I saw him playing, listening to the records that he would play. And that's what grabbed me towards the music side of it. And to really understand roller skating is to understand the records that are being played.
Right.
Because when DJs are playing during a session, they're telling a story. And that's what I do when I play. Or if I ever do get to play anywhere, I play from my heart. And I was taught to skate from your heart. So that's what I do, and that's what I try to pass on.
So speaking of DJing, how long have you been DJing?
I've been DJing for like the past 15 years.
Okay.
I was heavy into like techno music, you know, but that stuff is like so played out. I can't do it.
Well, overseas, you can make a good living overseas playing it.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? It's like, okay, I need something else. But I actually didn't know this, that my mom was a really good hustler back in the day. She used to dance, and she used to take me to these studios and the Loft, Paradise Garage. And my mom was so tight with people where she used to bring me in, and I used to hang out, and I used to be right near the booth, ear tuned in, listening and understanding the records that these guys were playing. And I didn't know, because I was so young, you know, 7, 8, 9 years old. Like, where the heck am I? You know, what am I doing? And I was fortunate to be able to experience that, talk to those DJs back in the day, and understand what music really was. Like, to them, music was its own culture, just like how roller skating is for us.
It really is, yeah. Yeah.
You know, because the records that I can find, let me tell you, it would blow your mind. The music that's out there and how it touches you and how it grabs you, you know, and it still does continue to grab me, because I'm stuck on TrackSource, and I'm stuck on some site looking for something that somebody don't have, a remix that does not have.
Yeah, that's the key right there. You always gotta find something that somebody does not have, or remix it yourself. You know,
exactly. And I'm trying to reinvent the wheel as being a skate DJ, because there's so much music out there. You don't want to. And to me, I've always been taught to not stay complacent. Try to change. Try to introduce different records, different beats, different genres. Because if you think about it, skating and music is universal. You know, and as long as you got a good ear, definitely shouldn't have a problem putting it together. It's a building block, you know, from every pivot to every hockey stop, every plow, every hand you grab, you know, every turn, every spin. The same thing with DJing. With every transition, you're telling a story. I believe when you're skating, you are telling a story as you skate. Telling who you learned from, who gave you your skills, who gave you your passion.
Yeah, transitions matter. As DJ Scratch says, transitions matter. So,
of course.
But yeah, it's interesting because as a DJ, and when I'm DJing here, I'm at the skating rink. Sometimes people will come up and say, "Hey, what song is that?" But they don't realize that behind the scenes, I'm actually remixing the song on the fly. So it's like I have a instrumental, and then I'm throwing on an acapella over it, but I'll try to use the instrumental that they never heard before and use vocals that are familiar, or I'll use an instrumental that they know and vocals that they're not familiar with. So, and as a DJ, that kind of keeps me on my toes because it makes it fun for me.
Oh, of course.
Because as a DJ, if your energy is low, it's gonna show in your music.
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah. So the power of a DJ, y'all, is powerful.
Yeah, it is. You could definitely send a message. Definitely, with depending on the records and how you're feeling. Oh my God, you could change somebody's mood in a heartbeat.
Yep.
You know.
Yes, I've been to some rinks and heard the DJ, and I'm like, okay, he in love today. You know.
That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. But you know, I mean, the culture now, it's being reinvented in ways I've never seen before, and they're taking it to a plateau that is really like unmatched. You know, and I'm happy at the fact that we're getting out more and more. You know, being a part of a few documentaries, I can say that roller skating has come a long way. But keep in mind, the heyday of it was back in the day.
Yeah,
so
it was.
It really was. And, you know, I'm happy that I was able to capture just a little bit of it, you know, so I have a better understanding.
But with the resurgence of skating and all of the people, because it's now just during COVID, a lot more people have been made aware of roller skating. It's always been there. We know that. But with the reemergence of it, do you feel like you said the heyday was back in the day, that we could have that same heyday, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now?
That's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because
not the same level, but I'm just saying with the same energy.
Of course. I think you can, but it all depends on how the torch is passed and how, you know, the new generation takes it. You know, they really understand the culture, because you can get into anything, but for you to understand the culture, you understand the background, that just enhances everything. You know, you walk into something, you don't know it. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just to go around the rink. No,
right.
For you to make yourself better, to be a part of it, it's good to understand what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Because we welcome everybody.
Oh,
we don't care where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
We got guys from Japan. We got guys from London. And now we got people from like Greece coming, Italy now. It's and keep in mind, in Europe, it's bigger than what it is over here. Because over here in the States, it's always been underground.
Yeah.
Always. Over there, oh my God, they'll skate in anything. They don't care what it is. They'll skate in an apartment, an 8x10. They don't care. They'll make it work. Us, we need a big rink with a good DJ, with a good floor.
A lot of people.
And a lot of people, you know. But yeah, I like the fact that during the resurgence, it is coming out. But to me, it's really commercialized, and you're not really getting the real, like, how it came up, how Detroit came up. Right. What are their great skaters? How did they impact everybody? Bill Butler, how did he impact the culture? How did, certain people?
I think part of that is like growing up and being in that heyday. It was like the skating rink was our Facebook. It was our Instagram, because we would hear the names of these people and we would have to go see them, or they would have to come to our area in order to experience it. And because we didn't have so many distractions, it was easier to pass it down to the generations. But as it got, more technically advanced, and now you don't have to really go anywhere to actually see any other stuff, it starts to build that disconnect. So I think that will it ever get back to that heyday of what it is? I can't see it, but can we bring the energy back? We can.
Definitely.
That's almost like saying that in 2022 we're gonna bring back the energy and the fun of disco. Back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I think like the disconnect too is not knowing the culture is part of a big part of it, because people are skating and it's fun, but they don't know the history of it. So that's part of the disconnect. Well, you can't move forward without knowing the history. It'll never be the same, because in the past, the culture and the history of skating was very profound to people. When you learned skating, you wanted to learn where it came from and the history of it and just everything that went along with it. Whereas now people just want to throw on skates and, you just look on social media.
Look cute. That's all.
Yeah, look on social media.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's a big difference. But how do you reintroduce that history, or to bring that the culture back into the art, so that people can understand? It's like when you go to an art gallery, you can just go there and look at the pictures, but if you don't know the history of the artists and what they were feeling, what they were thinking, and it's just a piece of art. It's just something on the wall, which is the same thing with skating.
Yeah. But the thing is that history is there and is readily available. It's just that who has a listening ear to hear it.
Right, exactly. And a lot of kids today, a lot of young group, I don't want to say kids, because the younger generation now, to me, some are into it, some aren't. For example, Brandon from up here in New Jersey. He was like a sponge. He's come up with his own style. So is Corey, Bootcamp Corey. He's come up with his own thing. That's how they're reinventing the wheel. They're constantly spreading it through skate lessons. And come here and let's do this. Let's, be a part of this, be a part of that. So they're doing a good job up here in New Jersey. I got to give them praise, because if it wasn't for them, their generation right now wouldn't know anything. They wouldn't, because, when you see kids now or the younger generation in the skating rink, they're just skating around.
Yeah, just going around in circles. And sometimes it's just their escape to get away from home.
And there's just so much, there's so much artistry to it, and you'll be surprised about what you can do if you just let go mentally and physically, and you can see what you can actually accomplish if you give your all to it, because that's what I did. That's all I had at one point. So at one point I was skating 5 nights a week. It didn't matter where. It didn't matter what party. I was there. I was going, following Bob, following Eric, following somebody. In somebody's car, I was somewhere. And I was learning the culture. Even talking with Ice, Ice from Philly. He's like a big brother to me too. And he was one of the big ones that really schooled me on like how they got down back in the day, besides from Bob, Eric, Bill, and Mike and everybody. You know, the culture is just so vast. It's just, you know, it's like opening Pandora's box.
Interesting. Interesting.
It really is.
So what do you think is needed right now for the skate community as a whole? Because you've been skating for 30 something years. So you've seen the changes and the transitions and, you know, and since we're speaking about this subject, what do you think, in your personal opinion, is needed?
A real documentary on what we do. Oh, like, what is it on a day-to-day thing? Like, you know, how does this inspire me to continue on? How does this help me through my day? Stress reliever, whatever it may be. You know, the documentaries that have come out have been great because it's giving you a taste. But you got to go to like the regular, forget the skate parties. Go to the regular nights that people are skating. That's where the real and raw history is. And that's where real stories, and you can get a real taste of the history. You really can. You go to Chicago, Atlanta, California, you go to the old school rinks, and you talk to old timers, OGs, and they'll give you a dose of how it used to be and what it can be.
It's almost like, to make a really good detailed documentary for roller skating, because there's so many different styles, so many different areas, you would almost have to go to each area, East Coast, West Coast, down south, Midwest, international, you know, and talk to the OGs and get them all together in one spot and just talk about it. You know, and give their examples and their experiences in roller skating, you know, which is why, you know, Skaters Konnect, we always like to talk to people from different, you know, areas. Lately we've been having a lot of New Yorkers.
I know.
That's,
a lot of
you know,
We
a whole lot of
got
East Coast,
influence.
you know, but we'll still get some Midwest, some down south. We'll get some, you know, some West Coast, and the stories, they're the same, but they're different.
Right.
You know, and that's the beauty of it. You know, at the end of the day, they all have the same ending, I guess, but the story about it in their area is always different. But at the end of the day, it's all about the same kind of goal, and that's the beauty of it.
The passion of the culture.
So for you, what is roller skating for you? What does it mean for you?
It's more of a self-expression of who I really am. It really is. Just because of things that I've been through in my life. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been through a lot of ups and downs. And the great thing is that I was actually able to marry a skater.
Nice.
So, yes, I married my beautiful wife, Tawanda Morales.
Seen her all over your Facebook.
She
nice plug, because if you didn't mention her name, she probably would have said, "Why you didn't say nothing about me?" So,
no, but I was happy to marry a skater, and you know, it's opened my eyes to a lot, because you know, she's skated in, you know, a lot of great rinks herself, and you know, she's a beautiful woman, and a beautiful person, and a beautiful mother. I really can't. It is what it is. And, you know, I'm very happy at the fact that I had the opportunity to marry a skater, you know, because she's my all, you know, and when we go skating, it's like a match in heaven. I don't want to skate with anybody else besides her. And you guys okay with seeing me, even though I'm in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, you're a little dark, but it's okay. Because it was
Batman
like,
dark
a little light in the beginning, and then it just like something happened. I was like,
I'm so sorry, but yeah, I'm very grateful that I was able to marry her and be together for as long as we've been. It's been a good 9-10 years we've been together. Married for 3, going on 3, and you know, like I said, you know, she travels with me everywhere, you know, Atlanta, North Carolina, wherever there's a skate party, you know, she skates as hard as too, you know, she's very well known herself in the New Jersey area. And you know, so whenever we get a chance, we go wherever we can, you know, to get it in, you know, because up here it's expensive to skate, You know, to go back to New York because there's not a lot of rinks, and Branchbrook's like 15 minutes away from us. So we do what we can when we have time.
Yeah. So have you guys ever traveled and skated internationally?
No, that's one thing. She wants to go overseas badly, and I'm like, okay, you gotta hold on because I gotta save up the paper.
I gotta do a few more gigs.
Yeah, but basically, that's one thing that I know that we would definitely love to experience. She really wants to go to France. I want to go to the UK, and I want to see what they do. You know, I see videos all the time, and it's like literally they'll turn a loft into a skate party, which I think is great.
They have a party.
Yeah.
They be partying
and it's
out there.
down. They get down. They don't care where it is. They don't care if it's on a beach, anywhere. They get down. Somebody got a speaker somewhere, and it's great that they actually listen to great records because I hear the stuff. They're really into disco.
Yeah,
out there.
They're very much into disco.
It really is, and you know that's kind of what's drawn me to because to me disco is like it's real music. I don't care. I can hear Patti LaBelle or anybody hold a note compared to what today, you know, with music. And disco music is real skate music to me.
Mm-hmm.
It really is because disco music it tells a story with every record you hear. You know, that's real music to me. You know, besides some house music. Because I'm like a house junkie.
Yeah, house head up there.
Yeah, I'm kind of a house junkie. So, you know, it's great that actually I had the chance back in the day to listen to great DJs besides for Bob, that helped me to make me the DJ that I am now. You know, because I continue digging in the crates, digging on the internet, finding different stuff and trying to, you know, put it out there because, you know, music is music. Skate music is skating. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you got a beat, you can skate to it.
There you go.
Do you only DJ in the rink or do you DJ anywhere?
I try to DJ anywhere. I put it out there. I've been doing a lot of like something new. I've been like putting like drink packages together. For some reason, I came up to be a mixologist.
Okay.
You know, I make these drinks at home. My wife loves them, and then we go to barbecues. And I'm like, okay, if you want, you know, the drinks, I also DJ, so I can do like a barbecue and give you a great drink package on the side. You know.
Okay, so you DJs who have some drink experience, you can mix it up.
I just experiment. I put it together and just hope and pray you can make it home.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. You know,
so I try to make it enjoyable for everybody. I really do. You know, because music it touches my heart. You know, with my mom being a dancer and listening to all the records that she used to dance to, and going to Empire, going to the Key and other rinks, and just listen to the music. You know, it's a great feeling.
So, how long have you been DJing in the rink itself?
12 years.
12 years. Okay.
And it's very, I don't want to say political, but
yeah, we gonna yeah.
Like all the DJs I know, I'm sorry, I love all y'all. Don't get mad at me. But you know, I remember when I started, somebody told me you got 2 years to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't make a name for yourself within 2 years, then you go down. And
political in the ring.
Because there's a lot of people that travel and follow other DJs. You know, like one person that has a strong follower is Arson, Janet, Nile. They have strong followings. So when you see a party, they're on the headline because they have a strong following. Right. I still follow them. You know, we all we're all here to support each other. You know, back in the day, I remember Bob was it.
Oh yeah.
Bob was it.
That was the only name you heard.
That's the only name you heard.
Yep.
Until like I forgot, like 2009, 2010. Then that's when they started incorporating multiple DJs during, and it was good because you got to hear different styles.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, blending together. Hear 2, 3 DJs playing at once. My ears can only handle 2 turntables. How am I going to handle 6? That's
right.
So, you know, the genres and how these guys put it together is great. But, you know, you have your national DJs and then you got your hometown DJs, you know, and they all have big followings. So for me, if it's not Bob, Nile, Arson, or Jammin' playing, I'm not going anywhere now. Back in the day, it used to be at the Key, LA Love, E. Kim, DJ Antonio back at Skate Key, Bob, and a few others. You know, like they're the ones that, you know, made what it is today in the music, you know, for everybody.
Interesting. Now, as being a DJ yourself, and we're talking about it being political, what do you think the DJs in the skate world is missing? Because it is very political, and in a sense, it's a little bit cliquish.
Sometimes
So
it can be.
yeah,
It can be. It's not a bad thing. I mean,
yeah,
everybody got a click.
but yeah. So what do you think is one of the things that the DJs need to do in the skate community?
I gotta be careful how I put this. I know somebody.
Yeah.
I would say be more open.
Mm-hmm.
More open to record selection.
Okay, he froze.
Oh, he froze?
Yeah, he froze.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. You had froze.
You were like,
hey, I thought you were thinking about guessing froze.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta be careful. But yeah, I mean, I love to hear different records. I just, you know, I want to see people actually start digging in the crates, because there are a lot of great tunes out there that you don't hear anymore.
Right.
Sometimes it can get repetitive, but you know, I guess me being around a lot of great DJs and a lot of great ranks, sometimes I want to hear a good variety, hip hop, old school hip hop, JB's, you know, some of that Cali hip hop, you know, just something different. Even though we're in New York and New Jersey, and it's classics, R&B, house, I want to hear something from the West Coast once in a blue moon. I want to hear something from Chicago. I want to hear something from ATL. You know, throw a twist, throw a jazz record in there, something, twist it up.
Yeah.
You know, just to be a little bit more vibrant. Be like, wow, I haven't heard that before. That's a nice record, you know. And that's what I try to do when I'm searching for records. I try to search different jazz records, R&B records, and you know, so that way when I do get a chance to play, I'm introducing something different.
Yeah, that's real important. Because I know for myself, I'm constantly in every single day. I'm listening to music every single day, and I'll try to find a person that I've never heard before. You know, some of those underground tracks that have a really good beat. You know, and it's interesting because some of the skaters, they're not really receptive to new music. They're so used to hearing certain stuff.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, because, you know, to be honest, it kind of makes our job easier.
Go right back to the playlist. Okay, I played that 3 weeks ago. I'm playing that again.
Right. You don't want to hear it again.
If people who go on a regular basis, you're just like, oh, okay, play that again.
Yeah. Right. But for a DJ too, it's like for yourself playing the same songs over and over and over and over and over again is not challenging. And one thing that I tell a lot of the newer DJs is you have to find a way to distinguish yourself from everybody else. You know, you don't want to play the same tracks. If you find a track that's a good track, break it in. You know, after a while, give it away. Find something else. Break that in. After a while, give it away. Pay it forward. You know, there's nothing wrong with helping other DJs out. But as a DJ, when you're taking it, you have to know how to flip it, basically, so you don't sound like the other person. So you can't keep things interesting.
One thing I wanted to ask the both of you is that, you know, you said it's very political in the skate world to be a DJ. So how does that new DJ who could be a dope DJ, but like, how do they get into this realm? Because it is so very political, and you have to be very careful in the way that, you know, you approach people. Like, how does that one break into the skate world when everybody wants to hear the arson or just wants to hear DJ PM or DJ R. Cole? Like, how do they do that?
From what I've seen, it's a lot about popularity. It's about how many people can you pull.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about. And I've seen arson, like, I remember one skate-a-thon. Him and I forgot his name from Texas. These two guys, let me tell you something. I never seen them. If you ever been to Golden Glide in Atlanta, after they remodeled it, that rink was, I've never they shut down the other rink that they had that year. Because at one point they had 2 rinks going at the same time. There was like, I think like 80 people went to one rink. The rest of everybody came to us where we were.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God. And to the point where I heard that they actually had to close the other rink down because there wasn't enough people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like when you have that popularity and that energy, that's what people are looking for.
Right.
Energy and how you present it, how you bring it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what Bob had for so long. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was very versatile too. That's why I really like Bob, because he was one of the first skate DJs that I really actually paid attention to. You know, I had been DJing prior to that, but once I started hearing him, I really started to pay attention to the music, because sometimes it's not what you play, it's how you play it. And then other times it's not how you play it, it's what you play. So you got to have an equal balance of both of those, you know. So it's music selection is very important. But like for an example, you can hear a song on the radio and you're like, man, this is trash. You hear a DJ play it, and when he blends it with something else, and you just automatically rock to it. You know, it sounds totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Bob. I've seen some people go through. I mean, I remember when I used to help Bob bring his crates to Skate-a-thon in North Carolina, because that's the guy I used to follow him. Like even before Tuesday, even because Tuesday night at Empire was like, if you wasn't there, you was nowhere. Okay, it didn't matter what I was doing. I even used to volunteer my time to clean the floor. That's how vested I was into the culture. I wanted to make sure that the floor was clean. So I used to go in, I used to volunteer my time, and I used to listen. When I was done with the floor, cleaning the floor, getting ready for the adult night, I used to go up there in the booth and listen to Bob, you know, get brand new records, his selections. I used to stand up there and just listen. And you see the passion, and you see the art form just within that itself. You spend up there 2-3 hours just going through records, putting them together, moving them around from crate to crate to crate to crate to crate, setting it up, you know? Because that's what it's really all about when it comes to the music. Because besides for the skating part, the music is what really pulled me in.
Got you.
The music pulled me in.
Got you.
And then that positive point where you're just saying you would do anything just to be in the rink, I think that's lost. Like people just come to the rink, they just want to skate and they walk away. They don't care if the floor is clean. They don't care if the tables are wiped down. They don't care. They just come and they want to skate and then they leave. Whereas in the back before, you were vested in your rink. You wanted to make sure that the floors were clean, that the bathrooms was clean. You would do anything just to even there.
Yeah.
And it's a big change. I think that dynamic has totally changed in today's society.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true, because there's plenty of times, one of my first jobs at a skating rink, and I didn't automatically start on the payroll. You know, I actually started like you know, it's like, hey, do y'all need some help? Want me to sweep the floor? We was even doing security on a team night, you know, so just to kind of help them out. And they appreciated that, because if you think about it, they may only have 3 or 4 staff members, and there's 300 or 400 people in there, you know.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they're there all day. They want to go home too, just like everybody else. So why not help out?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I wanted to do. It's just, you know, if you were there, like, because I used to work at Skate King and Empire at one point at the same time. So I used to jump on the train an hour and a half from the Bronx all the way down all the way back down to Brooklyn. It didn't matter which way it was. And I was in the rink just because I felt like I was at home. I felt like I belonged, you know. And I'm very happy that I was actually able to interact with a lot of great skaters at that time. And I'm happy that they opened, you know, their doors to me. You know, I didn't know nothing about rules. I didn't know nothing. So they took me under their wing, and I became, you know, the little annoying dude, Chris Morales, into what I am today. You know, I'm just trying to reinvent the wheel and continue trying to pass the culture along as best as I can to whoever wants to learn it.
So I guess one of the questions, like, since you've been in it so long, you started in the rinks and you were just doing things for the rinks, the owners of the rink, were they inviting to you back then versus what you see now? How has that changed, that dynamic with the owners?
Some have, some haven't. I've done a lot of consulting because, even though I work in rinks, I also do some consulting for ice rinks and for some roller rinks. Sometimes I'll get a call or like an email. Hey, how can I improve this? And how can I improve that? Because I have a very, my LinkedIn page is very deep with connections in both sides of, the roller skating industry and on the ice side. So, I have a lot of connections on just trying to improve their facility to make the skating experience better. Like a lot of people don't realize, you go to like a lot of these parties and the skating rink is like an ice skating rink. The floor is saturated, wet. How do you solve that? How do you solve that in an ice rink? You control the air quality. So if you're able to change that or invest into a dehumidifier, that helps that. You understand what I'm saying? So I try to put people on to new equipment that can actually help them. Yeah, to them it's a lot because $5 per person.
Yeah,
a lot of $5. But
Yeah.
to ask somebody to invest in equipment to make the skating experience better is a lot. But I do get a lot of positive communication from rink owners. Some take it and some people no, some people stay away from it. But I still try to make connections wherever I go. Yeah. Because you never know. Somebody's going to need somebody sometime down the line. And if I can help you, I'll give you a connection or I'll put you through a connection or I'll even set it up for you. I do it the best way I know how to help. That's all I'm about. I just want to make the whole experience better for. I want to try at least what I can give.
So with your experience with roller skates and skating rinks and ice skating rinks, what do you think is a good formula for having a good session, not just music-wise, but what do you think is a good session or a good formula to have a good session or a good skating rink for that matter, whether it's ice skating or roller skating?
Well, obviously the facility. The facility says a lot. The cleanliness, how you take care of it. And if it's well upkept, and then everything else falls in line. Who wants to go to a rink and see that the bathrooms are dirty or something's not taken care of? That turns people away. And the rink that I work at now, we take a lot of pride, and I instill that into because I also manage like 5 or 6 guys, so I instill, hey, cut the ice this way, do this, do that, and everybody goes through a training program. The way that I was taught, I'm going to pass that down because I want you to, to, I guess, take some kind of appreciation for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You might just work here, but at the same time, you skate here. So make sure that the floors are clean, the sound system's working right, the lighting. People don't realize how much lighting plays in a session. Skate rentals are up to par. Is the air quality good? Am I going to skate for an hour and feel like I'm skating with a cloud over my head? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
that's a good point. Air quality.
And another lot of things that people love, food.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to have that good food.
Good food, man. Let me tell you something. I don't care what it is. Empire had one of those little mini pizzas. I'll never forget. Every single day. After every session, I had one because it was the bomb pizza. I don't care if it was made in a microwave or one of them little rinky-dink ovens. I didn't care. I was having it because it was the bomb at that time.
That mini pizza.
For real, the mini pizzas. I don't care what anybody says. But, it's little stuff like that makes a session better. Because nobody wants to go to a dirty facility. People want to walk in and they feel like they're at home, where you're almost greeted by name. People know you. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Chris? How's the life? How's the wife? How's the family?
Yeah. I think that customer service, that experience is really important.
Yeah, and nowadays it's starting to get rare.
It is.
Customer service. Yeah.
And I think part of that too is that the turnover of employees that these rink owners have, because it's hard to keep a good employee because, as you said, like take a lot of $5 to keep the rink going. So the expenses of the rink doesn't allow them to keep someone who would be vested or have that love in the rink. So I think that's part of it too.
And you'll be really surprised how much the value of roller rinks compared to ice rinks are. Ice rinks are popping up all over the place because the ice rink industry and the ice rink sports, ice hockey and figure skating, it's multi-million-dollar.
That is true because we just had a couple of them pop up here in Houston recently.
Yeah, they're very easy to pop up. Okay, even though it can cost you anywhere between 5 to 10 million, depending on how big your facility is. But when it comes to roller skating, it's like, taking a chance.
Yeah. Because nobody is gonna get rich off a skating rink, especially now.
It's not. The only way you get rich or make a decent value on an ice rink, you have 2 big sheets, 2 standard sheets. You know, like you see at the on TV, 200 by 85. You have 2 of them, and they pay for themselves over time. And then it also depends on what kind of coaching you have. If it's in a good central location around highways, easy to get to.
Right.
You know, that plays a big part. Like there's one rink out here in Bridgewater called the Bridgewater Sports Arena. 3 highways surround it.
Okay.
Easy to get to.
Yeah.
And then a mall is like right down the block. And then on top of that, there's hotels. So when they have tournaments and stuff like that, it's easy to get to. You know, food, easy to get to. You know, that's what really, it's all about the demographics of the area that makes rinks survive.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah, because I mean, like in the gallery, we have a big mall here called the Galleria, and they have an ice rink inside of the Galleria.
That's new now. That one of those actually just popped up at the American Dream. It's like the mall that's in St. Louis, you know, the Mall of America.
Okay,
yeah.
One of those popped up here, up right next to MetLife Stadium. And the place is gigantic. It's huge. It has an indoor water park. It has a snowboarding slope. You can ski any time of the year. They have like 1,000 stores in there, and
it's Mall of America, right?
Yeah. The place is massive.
Yeah.
You know, you can literally have your own experience there. Go there, you can do everything in one shot.
Yeah, we never even made it through the whole mall. We just
Park. Forget it all. Go there, you're good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure not too many people going there now because of COVID, but you know.
Oh no, that place is shut down. Nobody's doing anything. Actually, the rinks actually just reopened up. My rink just opened up again on the 6th. So, you know, we're doing small clinic type deals. We're not bringing in the public around too much. Just because, you know, a lot of parents are still scared. And I completely understand. Sometimes I'm scared myself. I'm there, I'm maxed up all the time. You know, and I tell my staff, stay maxed up, keep everybody situated and everything. So hopefully the turnaround is positive with this COVID-19 thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's next for you?
Next, besides dinner?
That sounds good.
Just gonna kick back and relax for tonight, get ready for tomorrow. Actually starting a new venture. I'm gonna be stepping into the hydraulic industry as of Monday. There's another phase, another portion of the industry, you know, trying something new. It's not gonna hurt. And I'm still in the rink industry, but I'll be there like a couple days a week helping out, you know, making sure stuff's still running, you know, because I care. You know,
you'd be the man if you put some hydraulics on some roller skates. You know, now I don't know how safe that'll be or how that'll work as far as skating, but yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, that'll take off in Cali for sure.
Now that's one big hydraulic reservoir I would have to put on my back because that's a lot running the lines down my legs. You know, but you know, I'm just gonna continue pushing forward, continue skating, and continue pushing the culture in a positive way, you know, as much as possible. You know.
Good deal.
And hopefully another rink will open up somewhere in Jersey and New York because you go to Camden, that's an hour and a half away. Branchwood's 15 minutes away. And then Massapequa is an hour and change away only in Long Island. So hopefully something changes for the better.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Definitely appreciate.
No problem. It's been great talking to you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Very enlightening.
Learning about the ice skating factor because we really don't have anybody talk about ice skating. No. But you know, at the end of the day, it's still skating. You know, roller skating, ice skating.
Skating is skating. Doesn't matter what you're wearing on your feet. Rollerblades, roller skates, ice skates. The whole technique and everything is the same. The only difference is that ice skating is by book. Freestyle roller skate is just, you know, you do whatever. You know, you make it your own. You learn from whoever you can learn, and you make it your own. That's the great part about roller skating. You make it your own.
Good deal. So, how can the skaters out there connect with you?
You can hit me up on Facebook at Christopher Morales. Everybody has me pretty much on there. Or you see me in the rink. Just pull my hand.
Hey.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, there you go, skaters. If you guys have any questions about ice skating, roller skating, some DJs, young DJs out there, it's always good to look at the OGs in the game that have been DJing for some years, to get some of that knowledge and experience. So definitely reach out to him. Again, greatly appreciate it.
No problem. You guys have a great day and a great night.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we'll all be able to meet back up at the rink soon.
2021.
Yeah, probably 2021. Hoping not 2022. So
that's true. If I tap you on your shoulder and I look at you, you know who I am.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So everybody tune in. We greatly appreciate you guys. And until next time, we will see you on the wood.